Hey Sandy, it's Carla. I apologize again. I know it's late, but we discussed it being late. So I'm doing the big idea flipped for Virgin. So here is the agenda. Insight, the idea statement, the big idea with the tagline, the principles I've chosen, the execution, and then a summary. We'll talk about the summary in a minute. So the insight is that people want to feel proud of their choices in life without feeling judged for what they can afford. That was taken from IKEA. I've tweaked it a little bit clearly for Virgin. So the idea statement, simply put, is this is who I am, now deal with it. So the big idea is that we believe that everyone should love who they are and that others should embrace that about each other. And the tagline is be adventurous and be you. It's rooted in truth and it's actionable. A lot of the stunts and stuff that Virgin does promotion wise is very actionable. It's things that you would be like, oh my goodness. And it's all rooted in this truth concept of we are the crazy ones, so to speak. We're the wacky ones, and this is who we are. So the first execution I came up with is this concept of take the risk, be you, and live for the adventure. So the mood board, I know you're like, what the? I know you, Sandy. Deal with it. Is very adventure, risk taking adventures. So skydiving, scuba diving, rock climbing, climbing the mountains, seeing the world, kayaking, canoeing, um, jumping out of skydiving. That was the one I wanted, jumping out of the plane. This whole adventure concept, everything you can imagine of adventuring. Um, that's what I picture for the mood board. So the concept being take the risk, be you, and live for the adventure. The background idea for this is that with Virgin, you can take the risk and be yourself and live for said adventure. It doesn't matter if you use Virgin Airlines, if you stay in their fancy hotels, if you end up buying a phone plan, you're being who you are and you're taking that risk, especially if you've never flown before and you're now flying halfway across the world. And you're living in that moment for the adventure. Obviously, if you have the phone plan, you have a phone, you're going to take photos of your adventure, right? If you are flying overseas, flying in general is an adventure, going through the airport and everything, and the risk of what happens when you fly. Your luggage can get stolen, or it never arrives, it gets rerouted, or something horrible happens on the plane. That's all about the risk, and it's being who you are. You're acknowledging this is who I am and deal with it. So, where would these be? Well, I was thinking of experiences like pop ups at events like the Outdoor Adventure Show, especially for the fact that we are talking about adventuring. You're taking a risk, you were being you, and you were on an adventure. I figured that would be really cool, partnering with things like the Outdoor Adventure Show, and showing off, with Virgin, you can have this adventure, right? I wouldn't necessarily do the RV show because the RV show is a very like fine-tuned market. I've only been to one because it was the camping and RV show, and camping meant scouting, or so I thought. But their definition of camping and RVing is like glamping, and I'm like, ew, no, that's not roughing it. And I rough it. So I would rather be at the outdoor adventure show because there you are seeing things like hiking and skydiving and canoeing and all of these adventures that are risky. And then I figured we would have ads showing different people, from your everyday folk, your mom and pops, to the little kids, to even Sir Richard Branson, who's not a spring chicken, jumping out of planes, camping, doing other adventures that are risky or you think are risky, to showcase that with Virgin, it doesn't matter how old you are, there is still an adventure side of you and you're going to embrace it. The second concept I had was live life your way and who you are. So I know you're looking at this mood board and you're like, oh my goodness, Carla, explain. So I will. So be who you truly are. If that means you are part of a community where it is, some cultures look bad upon it, then that's who you are. There are no apologies. There is no accommodating, no exceptions. This is who I am. I am a happy Zen for part of the community person, or I'm none of it. But there's none of this compromising. This is who you are. You are embracing yourself. And I tried to find like that type of vibe. So if I screwed up, that's on me. Which leads to the concept is that with Virgin, you can be who you truly are. There's no exceptions, no apologies, no blank space, no no wishy-washy, no, well, I could be. No, you are or you aren't. Deal with it. And then for this, the adverts, again, an experience, pop up at an event like Pride Parade. And I know where you're going, but a lot of people would either they're in the community fully and they embrace this is who I am, accept me, there's no exceptions, no apologies, or there's people that they are part of the community, but they only come out to these things. They don't really advertise who they are. They're like sort of go to things and then sort of not. And I want to be at those things where we Virgin would want to be at these things where it's like embrace who you are. Like this is who you are. Like tell the word to deal with it. Live your life your way, who you are. And then that leads to these digital. I'm calling them reflection ads. But I want you to picture for this one, like you're walking down Queen Street at Young and Queen, Young and Dundas, and those billboards, those billboards at the buses, starts to play "Who Are You" from the Who. Who are you? Who? I really want to know. And you turn your head, and it's this billboard ad with a mirror in it, and you're looking at yourself, questioning, "Who are you?" And then you see all of the Virgin branding and messaging on the bottom and the sides and the top. But the top says, "Who are you?" Question mark. And then it says Virgin and whatever. And I was thinking major bus stops, major intersections, and subway stations, either within the village itself, again, to embrace that whole this is who I am, deal with it. Other pride friendly locations, so like not necessarily the village itself, but outside of the village where the community knows they are safe being there. And I know it's not here, but like other major intersections where it's always this hustle and bustle and you need to stop people and go, oh shoot, like this is who I am. And it just gives them a second to stop and think. Um, and I was thinking subway stations, bus stops for that, only because it's heavy traffic hit. I would have it at Union Station, probably for Go and TTC. Not necessarily at the same time because of how it's built. You don't want someone who's just getting off the Go train hearing it, and then as they're getting to TTC hearing it. Like that would be overkill. But you would have it there. You would have it like at like Yorkdale subway station because Yorkdale itself has the subway, but then it also has the Go buses. So I'm thinking like high traffic, maybe like within the malls itself as well. Again, depending on the mall, like Eaton Center would be perfect for this because it's a huge mall and a lot of people. I wouldn't choose a mall like the one near me, Pickering Town Center. It is a smaller scale mall. It is not as busy. It is not as popular. I wouldn't put it there, but I would put it in the bigger trafficked malls. Ideally, because it is Virgin, you would obviously want it to be like at malls where there's a Virgin outlet store, like a Virgin store of some capacity. May it be in Toronto, may it be in the States with the mega music stores, whatever. You would want to have that connection. I would want it at the airports because again, flying Virgin Air. But I would be really like picky on where it is. It's not going to be a massive like yeah, Canada wide campaign or GTA campaign, yes, but I'm not going to have it flooding every place. It's going to be strategic, very strategic there. So to summarize, I talked about two key concepts that I came up with: live life your way, who you are, and I just had it too. Take the risk, be you. Take the adventure. With the tagline for both being "Be adventurous, be you." The reason I'm using that tagline for both is because of the fact that everyone has a different definition of being adventurous. I know for me, being adventurous means doing things just out of my comfort zone, but still being who I am. I'm a scouter by trade. We all know this. I go camping on the weekly, or monthly, or bi-monthly, quarterly. I don't even know when I camp. But for me, something adventurous would be like facing my fear of heights. Going up the CN Tower for me is adventurous because I don't do heights. So me doing that for me is being adventurous. I'm still being me, still have the fear. It's not like the fear disappeared after going up the CN Tower. I still have the fear of heights. But that is part of being adventurous. Everyone has a different definition. Um, being rooted in truth as a principle and actionable as the principles, I was very strong in picking only because of the fact that Virgin has always had this risk taking outlook to things. They've always been that way for as long as they've been around. They've always had this concept of we are willing to take the risk. We're going to take the risk. And I think it's important that we have that we mention that they are the risk takers and it's rooted in their truth. When you look at everything about Virgin, they talk about that. They talk about how Sir Richard Branson at the time when he did it, he was just a college kid and he took a risk. Um, and their core values are rooted in being in the truth of being curious and being adventurous and being exciting and all of this. And it's important that that's a strong principle for them. And then the actionable is on the similar line of that, the fact that they're not just saying, oh, we're adventurous. They had Sir Richard Branson jump out of a plane at least once that I can think of. You know, take, like, now they're going up in space, and that's a huge risk. Um, Competing against that other dude. So with that being said, like, that's where the actionable is. They're not just talking about it, they're showing you. And that's important with this in both executions. It doesn't matter if we're not just going to talk about it, we're going to show you. We're not going to just say live your life your way, who you are. We're going to show you. We're not just going to say be adventurous and take the adventure. We're going to show you. We're going to take Sir Richard Branson, who is like not that young. I don't even want to think about how old he is, and have him jump out of an airplane. We're going to take your everyday person, such as me, who has a fear of heights, and we're going to force her to go up the CN Tower and then jump off doing edge walk. Like, we're going to do that. We're going to take that adventure side and be like, we're not just saying to do it. We're going to show you. We're going to take average people who aren't trained in these things, who really don't want to do these things, or maybe they do because they're, really adventurous here, and we're going to push them, and you're going to buy in. So yeah, that's my presentation. I ramble when I record. I'll admit to that, Sandy. My apologies again for it being completely delayed. That's on me. I did ask for the extension though. And thank you. Bye.